absolute disaster for La Roca this past week over in, of course, the qualifying campaign over in the CONMEBOL. But can they bounce back against Bolivia? We'll take a little look next. Prediction video today. We're looking forward to match day number 16 over in the World Cup qualifying phase down in South America, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, keep hanging up to all things Rovers related, World Cup qualifying related, and World Cup itself related. We're going to here, boys. Under one Ruski. Yes, it looks like mission impossible for Chile, but of course they're going to keep on fighting until it's impossible itself to get over the line, to get themselves through to Qatar 2022. But of course, didn't do themselves any favour losing to Argentina last time around, but of course, my man, Big Bad Boy Bertrand Diaz, did the best he could last time around. Of course, we'll look at all of it in a minute. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the Patreons, guys. Thank you for your love. I really do appreciate your love. Of course, you could be a brother from another mother and join those band of men and women and support the channel behind the scenes. Check it all out down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. So here we go then. Here we go. Whoosh. Check it all out. These are the results, which of course defined match number 15. CONMEBOL. Let's get into it. Of course, Ecuador. They drew with Brazil, and I called it, lads, and absolutely called it. What was I? I was on the money there. I was on the bloody money. I mean, Paraguay did lose to Uruguay, though. They didn't do us any favours there, did they? They gave Uruguay monster 3 points on the road. That's, of course, what probably hurts the most. Meanwhile, Chile did give a bit of a fight for themselves against Argentina. A draw would have been all right, would have given a bit of hope, but they go against Bolivia next to basically say, they need to win it, and that ain't easy. Meanwhile, Colombia did lose to Peru as well to put themselves also in a bit of a pickle as well, and Venezuela did beat Bolivia, did us a favour to kind of keep them back as well. So big win for Venezuela at home to change it up a little bit. So yeah, I did pretty shit, really, ultimately, in those picks. What about you guys? A couple of other guys did shit as well, ultimately shit. But hands worst, Shane O'Donnell kicking ass and taking names with getting 3 out of 5 there. Gosh, took me a minute. Of course, here we go then. The leaderboard. Hans Worst kicking ass, taking names, 26 points on the board. Ian Hussain's up there with 25 points, and Alex Vela is doing bits with 3rd, of course. Let's take a look at the next round of matches then over in the CONMEBOL. In fact, did we analyse? Yeah, we did have a look at that table. But these are the games, of course. 5 games coming at you next time around, match number 16, of course. So let's take a look at it. First and foremost, we're going to kick it all off with Bolivia up against La Roca. It is must-win territory for Chile. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I think they will probably give them a good count of themselves in this game. But to be honest with you, I think it's for the benefit of Chile. I don't think they should qualify. They should hang up. Sanchez should pack it in. Vidal, if he hasn't already. Medel, Bravo. All the faces that have represented Chile for a long time, 15 years, even more than that, I think, should pack it in. I think, of course, give them the benefit of the doubt here if they win here against Bolivia. And of course, hang on a little bit and give a bit of fight because the final 2 games, Brazil and Uruguay, they've got to win the next 3. So this is it. This is it for Chile. Of course, played each other 14 times, these two nations, of course, at the Estadio Hernando Siles. Of course, this will be over in Bolivia, of course, on the 1st of Feb. Of course, Bolivia have just won one of the past 14, 11 wins for Chile, and 2 draws, of course. So there is a potential here for a win for Chile. Of course, Bolivia have been winning 4 of the past 6, 6% form, because the Chile side just won 1 of the past 4, 58% form as well. Chile's biggest win over Bolivia was a 5-0 win. Bolivia's biggest win over, of course, Chile was just a 1-0 win. And they've only scored 8 goals compared to Chile's 32 over the course of those 14 matches, which works out around about 0.57 goals a game ratio for Bolivia. Meanwhile, 2.29 goals a game ratio for Chile. So the fuel is there. It's the recent record against Bolivia is pretty decent. However, here is where it comes a little sticky. The last time there was a 1-0 win for Chile in Chile. That was in the Copa America Group A, and it wasn't necessarily in Chile. Of course, the real one was a 1-1 draw back in June 2021. That's of course little bits of indication that of course this World Cup qualifying phase was destined to fail. You're supposed to be winning those games. That's of course pre-Diaz, I think. Or was it? Was it pre-Diaz? I think it might have been his debut, 1-1 draw anyway, back in, of course, June 2021. I don't know, it was pre-Diaz. They didn't have him on this one. So it was a draw. That's the games you should be winning. That's your bread and butter games at home. Maybe no fans in the stands, I don't know. Of course, last time in Bolivia was a 1-0 win for Bolivia. Goodness gracious me. And in fact, let's have a look at the last 2 Yeah, well, there you go. It's not an unbreakable thing. However, the most recent occasions that these two nations have played each other, the majority of them have been in Chile. Of course, that represents a lot of wins for Chile. So, but last time played in Bolivia was a 1-win for Bolivia. Bolivia did lose to Venezuela last time around. Chile did lose to Argentina last time around. Of course, the odds for this one: 8-5 is your Bolivia, 7-4 is your Chile, 11-5 is your draw. So it's quite tight in the book. It could go either way. Smells like a draw, but I'm going to back my Chile on this one to get a win, and maybe some of the results will give us a bit of a food for thought heading into the final two games of the campaign. Uruguay up against Venezuela. Of course, Venezuela big winners. Uruguay just over the line last round. Played with them 14 times, 2004. 4 was Uruguay, 3 for Venezuela, and 7 draws. Again, there's some fuel for that optimism for Chile. Of course, last round, in fact, Uruguay just won in 6 of them, 25% form. Up against the Venezuela side, won 2 of the past 5, 33% form as well. Of course, Chile, Uruguay's biggest win over Venezuela was a 4-0 win. The biggest win was a 3-0 win. In fact, Uruguay scored 17 goals compared to Venezuela's 11 over the course of those 14 games, which works out around about 1.21 games a goal ratio compared to 0.79 goals a game ratio for Venezuela. Coming at you though, last time I played each other was in Venezuela, was a 0-0 draw back in, of course, June 2021. Last time I played each other in Uruguay was a 3-0 win back in October 2016. However, they also played each other in Venezuela and Uruguay a few more years back, and it was a 1-1 draw as well. So there's potential there for Venezuela to maybe upset and get a result. Basically, they come off on the back of a 4-1 against Bolivia, up against Uruguay, who having a narrow win against Paraguay. So maybe Venezuela can grab an away result, or maybe even a draw as well. We'll look at it as well. I think my predictions may be more hope than realistic. Of course, Uruguay 11-4 on. Of course, the book is overwhelmingly going with Uruguay here. 7-2 is draw, and 8-1 is your away win in Venezuela. I've gone with the 1-0 win for Uruguay. So that is sense. That is not my heart or my hope here. Of course, I would love a Uruguay a Venezuela result to give us hope. In the end. Meanwhile, Argentina up against Colombia. Of course, Argentina, I think they're over the line, but of course they will want to do it in style, maybe even get as close as they can to Brazil at the top there. Of course, these two nations have played each other 17 times, 2003, 9 was Argentina, 3 for Colombia, and 5 draws. And the Estadio Mario Alberto Kempes, they'll be on the 1st of Feb. Of course, Argentina coming to this unbeaten in the last at least 6 games, picking up 4 wins in the past 5 as well, 83% form. Up against the Colombia side, just 1 win in 6, 42% form as well. The biggest win for Colombia over Argentina was a 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 3-0 win. Argentina have scored 28 goals compared to Colombia's 19, which works out around 1.65 goals game ratio compared to Colombia's 1.12. Croatia, the last time played was in the Copa America knockouts. It was a 3-2 win for Argentina. It was in the semi-finals, of course, which eventually Argentina went on to win. They did play each other in Colombia way back, of course, in June 2021. It was a 2-2 draw in Colombia as well. However, last time played each other in Argentina was a 3-0 win for Argentina as well. Coming at you though, Argentina did beat Chile last time around. Of course, Colombia did lose to Peru at home as well, which is of course a bit of an upset for them perhaps. Of course, 11-10 on is your Argentina. They are your overwhelming favourites here, so that's good. 10-3 is your Colombia, and 9-4 is your draw. I'm back in Argentina here, and I want them to win quite comfortably as well. 2-0 win to keep Colombia out of the discussion for the race. I think basically the what we're looking at here is 5th spot. We are looking for 5th. Get through to 5th, you never know. Kicking off forward, it'll be Brazil up against Paraguay. Of course, this should be an overwhelmingly home win on this one, but of course, this has no real bearing on Chile's fate here. It's just keep the wins going and just whatever. Played 12 times these two sides, but the Govanda, Mangales, Pinto, of course, 12 times. 5 wins for Brazil, 4 for Paraguay, and 3 draws. It's quite tight in the old recent rankings there, recent games there. 75% form for Brazil, unbeaten in the last 31 games. They haven't lost in the last 31 home games, and then they're unbeaten in the last 6 here, 75% form for them as well. Paraguay coming to this without a win in the last 6 as well, 17% form. Their biggest win though over Brazil was a 2-0 win. The biggest win for Brazil over Paraguay was a 3-0 win. In fact, Brazil have only scored 24 goals compared to Paraguay's 20 over the course of those 12 matches, which works out around about 2 goals game ratio for Brazil, 1.67 goals game ratio for Paraguay. So there's probably goals in this game. Last time they played each other was in Paraguay. It was a 2-0 win for Brazil. And last time they played each other in Brazil, was it the Copa America knockout stages? Was it a 4-3 win for Brazil? If not, it was a 3-0 win back in March 2017. Paraguay did lose to Uruguay, and they haven't scored in, holy smokes, I don't even know how many games. Holy shit, they haven't scored in forever. They haven't scored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games without a goal. Get Santa Cruz out of retirement. Meanwhile, Brazil did draw with Ecuador, maybe a bit of and it's been back-to-back draws for them as well. So not great for Brazil. Of course, 3-1 on is your Brazil. They are going to be favourites for this one. 9-1 is your knockouts as Paraguay, and 7-2 is your draw here. Brazil will win this one. 3-0 win, and Paraguay will not score a goal as well. Kicking forward to the final game. This is it. This is the one that rides the most or has the biggest hope for Chile here. They won an away win. Of course, and Ecuador are doing good. They're of course a credible team right now. They played each other 17 times for these two sides, 5 wins for Peru, 6 for Ecuador, and 6 draws. Of course, at the Estadio Nacional, be on the 1st of Feb as well. Peru, though, won 5 of the past 6. up against Ecuador side who were unbeaten in the last 6. So 75% form for Ecuador and 92% form for Peru right now. The biggest win for Peru over Ecuador was a 2-1 win. The biggest win of those was a 5-1 win for Ecuador over Peru. Of course, the amount of goals, Peru scored 18 goals over Ecuador. Ecuador scored 25 goals over Peru, which works out about 1.47 goals game ratio for Ecuador compared to the 1.06 for Peru. Last celebration that was in Ecuador territory. It was 2-1 win for Peru. That was, of course, the reverse fixture in June. So Peru did beat Ecuador in Ecuador. So Ecuador owed them something here. And last celebration, though, in Peru was the 1-0 win for Ecuador. It was friendly. Went back into, of course, September 2019. So you don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. There is hope here. There is hope here. If it goes a little bit like that, of course, the ideal scenario would be a Venezuela win over Uruguay, and of course an Ecuador win over Peru, which would, of course, give the Chile lads a lot of hope. Of course, there is a monster in the room here, of course, which is Brazil waiting for take on Chile. But of course, that's a story for another day. Ecuador did draw with Brazil as well. Their tails will be up from that one. Of course, Peru did beat Colombia as well. Back-to-back clean sheets for Peru. Looking at the odds for this one, we have 5-4 Asia Peru, 23-10 Asia draw, 11-5 Asia away win. Of course, I'm going to go with a draw here. Now, a draw is okay for everybody, and including Chile. If Chile do beat Bolivia, put Chile on 19 points. It'll put Peru on 21 points. It'll put Uruguay in the driving seat on 22 points, and Colombia would, of course, remain on 17 points. Paraguay will get nothing. Bolivia will get nothing. Venezuela will get nothing. Who else? Who got the point there? Ecuador, of course. They're all home and host. They're already there, I believe. Yeah, Ecuador in the driving seat, Peru as well. But that 5th spot is where it's all at. So Peru will be in 5th. Uruguay will be in 4th. And of course, it'll all go down to the last 2 games, and who knows what'll happen in that one. That's, of course, my take on it, and hopefully it's that, because that works out all right. It's not that far-fetched that it won't happen, but of course, basically, Chile need to beat Bolivia first and foremost, and that ain't going to be easy. Going to Bolivia is tough as beans, but hopefully they play the right game. Anyway, that's it. Of course, be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, and of course, I'm on Patreon. If you think you are a South American football expert, I am actually looking for, realistically, one expert to cover South America as a whole, but I'm also looking out for representatives for Brazil, for Argentina, for Ecuador, probably for Peru, possibly for Uruguay, and of course any Chile guys as well. Anybody of those nations that can deem themselves the expert of those nations or knowledgeable on those. If you think yourself can class yourself as an expert of Brazil or Argentina and want to get involved with the channel, I'm looking for Qatar 2022 stuff as well, for watch-alongs and stuff like that. I'd love to get them on the channel here. So get involved. Let me know down below, or better still, follow me on Twitter, DM me directly. It says, hey, I'd love to be a part of the channel, and I would love to represent Brazil as well. So I'm looking forward and building now for Qatar 22, but I'm also building for next season. But anyway, till then, guys, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. See you soon for the next one, of course. Till then, dudes, we're done right here.